Session. Welcome back to the BIC Africa Acceleration Program for Women Entrepreneurs. We are super excited to have you back here again today. We are joined again by the lovely Agnes, who's going to be your expert trainer today. But before we get into today's session, let me just remind you of what it is that we are going to be covering. So we are back into finance again, but this time from a different angle. A lot of you expressed a few weeks ago, and even just in the course of entrepreneurship, that you want to know, how do we get access to finance? Are there funders out there who can help us? Are there any angel investors? Are there opportunities that are available to us in terms of finding money to bring into the business? And so this session is really going to give you a lot more insight into what that could look like and how to position yourself to ask for those things. As I mentioned a couple of weeks ago in our coaching session, not every business is going to be able to access external funding. A lot of people are looking at the same pool of investors or the same types of partnerships as you are, and the competition is definitely tight. And it isn't always going to be an option to get just some angel that says, here's $100,000, go and do with it as you wish. But that doesn't mean that all hope is lost. So today's session is really going to talk about access to finance, but also investment readiness, how to make your business investment ready, so that you do position yourself in a stronger place when you actually start going out and asking for this money. And then also how to develop those partnerships, because it is very much about building relationships and finding the right organizations, investors, or people that are willing to support you in your business. But before we get into that content, we are going to review some of your homework. So as I mentioned yesterday in the WhatsApp group, the two ladies that have been selected today for homework review are APfWE, along with your question of how do I calculate depreciation, and Janet, who I'm not sure, I don't think Janet is here yet, but that's okay. We'll still cover hers off. And then she wanted a bit more of an overview again about what variable costs are. So I'm actually going to hand over to Agnes. She's going to put those workbooks up on the screen so that she can walk you through them and cover a few more of the basics that we talked about last week, because it seems like there is a little bit of confusion, uncertainty, doubts, and we want to make sure that you get it as well as you possibly can. So Agnes, I'm going to hand over to you and take it away. Let me stop sharing on my side. I've lost the little, oh, there it is.
Yeah, I think I took over. Thank you, Danielle.
Great.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being there again this week. It's good to see I have not disgusted you from finance, so you're back. Very excited about it. I know that last week was very heavy. This week will be more, should be more digestible. So please, keep up. It's gonna be fine. And yes, I think it's also good to be able to go back a little bit on some notions from last time, and also to use the examples of your homework to go back to those tools that I had provided to you to support you in your in the way to present your business. So I'll do just that. Thank you for Janet and APfWE. We are using your homework, so thank you for for giving us that opportunity. And let's dive in. So flash forward training 4. Let me see why. Okay. So the first element, I'll come back to the questions about depreciation and variable costs at the end, but we'll start with the workbook and look at the way to fill in the workbook. So again, I'll use the examples provided by Janet and APfWE to see what you should do and what shouldn't be done. So the first element was the cash book. So this is one of the examples, the way it's been filled. And actually, this is not the right way to do it. Why? Because there, everything is on the same line. The idea of the cash book is to put different lines for each either reception of cash or disbursement of cash. So if you look at the example that is on the page, first of all, you see that you need to input the real date. You need to be very specific about what it is you're talking about. And then you need to put a line for each and every item. So you see, I put the example of the 23rd of June, cash received 20,350. And then the 24th of June, I put an example about more reception. And then on the 26th of June, cash out. And the cash out is a negative number. So you should put either a minus or put it into bracket because it has to be deducted. If we look at the last column, the column called balance remaining, it will be, so if you see the first line here, it is, you know, what you're starting with. So 20,000, you receive 20,000, you put 20, yeah, it's here. And then the balance is 20,000 because this is what you have in your wallet. The following day, you make another 30,000. So your balance will be this, the 20,000, plus the 30,000, minus nothing. So you have 50,350. 2 days after, you have to cash things out. You have to cash 23,000 out. And so the balance will be 50,000. Well, actually, my mistake, I wanted to put 20,000 here. So it should be cash paid 20,000 and it will be 50,000 minus 20,000, 30,000. And so we go plus 2,000, 32,000, minus 24, 8,000. Okay, so that is the way to fill it in. You have cash received, cash paid, a line for each item, and then the balance is always going to be what's there plus what you get minus what you disperse.
Agnes, did you want to share your screen? Because right now we just see you.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I see the screen. I see the screen.
Oh, I just see her.
Oh. The other people.
Ladies, can you see the screen or do you just see me? Because if you see me, it's pointless.
Yes, we see the screen.
Oh, maybe it's my setting. Sorry to interrupt. Okay. I will figure it out on my side.
Second element for the workbook. Okay, so this is a way, the first one, as you see, is well filled in. So thank you for that. Just another example. And then you have the sales and tracking expense. I know it looks the same, but it is not the same. Why? Because the first one is really about cash and, you know, gives you an element about what's left in your pocket. So the 37 that I hope you see my mouse moving here, the 37,000 here is what you have in your pocket, right? Below, it's not about cash. It's about what you're selling, what you're taking, and what you're going to disperse. But in terms of, it can be someone that you need to pay and that you're not paying yet. And also it gives you a detail about, you know, the really what you're selling in terms of numbers, in terms of unit price. So it's really a detail, and you don't have the balance here, as you can see. So the idea is not the objective is not the same. First one is really about cash, how much cash you have left. Second one, sorry, is really about providing the details about your business, how much you sell, how many units, for how much, etc. Now, in this example, there's something that is wrong. And I would love some of you, so the presentation is right, but something is wrong. Can someone tell me what is wrong here? Can you try to provide elements about what could be wrong in chat box, please? And I'll try to activate, oops, chat box. So so can someone tell me what they think is wrong about this slide? Okay, I'll go there because I don't think I don't see anything in the chat. And maybe I'm a little, or something wrong about it. Okay, there's one expense that should not be there. The one expense that should not be there is the one I'm showing you, is the school fees. I mean, I don't know the details about okay, maybe this is about the school. I don't know the details about the business, but and sorry if it is really about a school, but otherwise, I provided last time a last slide which was about not mixing personal and business elements. So I understand in this case it actually is school fees for the business of schools. But if it were not about the business, if you were putting school fees because you're talking about your own kids and how you're going to pay for your own kids' school fees, that should never be in your business. And I hope this is clear for you. You really need to really separate what's for you and your family and what's for your business. It's very, very important. Last element, cash flow statement. So cash flow statement, so I got the example and I put it right. So the cash flow business, I'll explain again how to fill it in. So top line here, it's what you have. Let's say you're starting in next month, you're starting it today, we're the 1st of July, so you're starting it now. So you have to look at what's in your pocket from yesterday evening, end of day. This is what you're going to put here, okay? So you put July, and this is what you're going to put here. Then over the months, you'll see what you cash in. So it's really about cash again. Next line is what you're going to cash out. And in this example, okay, it's 45,021,000. What you're going to have at the bottom is the 100,000 plus the 45,000 minus the 21,000. So at the end of the month, you should have 124 in your pocket. And then this is the number you're you're putting here at the beginning of next month, because this is what you had on the 30th at midnight. And this is what you're going to have the 1st in the morning when you start off again. And same. So you have 124, you take in 51,000, you take out 21,000. And at the end of the month, you're going to have 124 plus 51 minus 21, and that's 154,000, and so on and so forth. Antifili, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to have used your example. We are okay. It's about business. So I mean, for you, it's right. This is the right way to show, and thank you for that. But I just wanted to use, the example in another sort of setting where, let's say, the business was about something else, and then you would mix. Someone would mix personal elements. For you, we really understand it's about the business, and so this is the right way to go. Sorry for you. Okay, and thanks again for by the way, for your homework, Antifili, because it's really, and I'll show your example below. This was your example that I'm showing here. And so the way you show your financials is appropriate and is right. So it's really it's really good. Suzanne, yes, I mean, I'm happy to I think Christina will be happy to put the slides here on the drive, so you can use them as examples and go back to them and make sure you're filling in the right way.
Yeah, yes, they're on the drive already. If someone wants, but I mean, of course,
Okay.
it's better to follow the session now. But for after the session, you can access them on the drive thing.
So I hope this is clear. If it's not clear, please, you can always ask, Daniel or Christina, and I'm happy to also get back in the loop to explain in more details again. But I think if the group gets it, most of the group gets it, we'll move on. Last one was profitability. So the income statement, again, I use your example, Antifile, and thank you. This is also the right way to go. So again, turnover is what you're making. So is how much money it should be for the year. So how much money you made in 2024, let's say. The direct cost, we'll go back to that, is how much you disbursed directly linked to your business. So for instance, for Antifile, it would be indeed the school fees for the participants. For someone who produces, I don't know, artwork. I mean, I don't know, let's say selling instruments, musical instruments. It would be the wood. It would be the person like literally crafting the wood. This here is the 500 minus the 31, so that's 432,000. This is a huge margin. Bravo. And so the calculation of the gross margin, this is what we call gross profit, because it's really just linked to the production or to the of the service or the product. So it's really directly linked to what you're going to take out. I'll get back to it again. And this is the percentage of that over that. Operating expenses, it's other type of expenses, the rent, other salaries, the mobile phone, the things like that. Okay, it's here. And then you have the marketing, general management, maybe school, maybe bank fees, and other elements. This is going to be here. And so you have the gross profit minus this, minus that. And at the end of the day, this is going to be your net profit. Okay, net profit. And this is what basically will be telling us if your business is profitable or not, is making money. So this is all the money you're putting in your pocket, you're getting in. But at the end of the day, this is really the money you're making. You're not making that. You're making that, meaning that it's really what you have to look at to know if your business is solid or not. And then again, you can calculate the margin, always the same. It's this divided by this, and it provides this number. And again, it is a huge margin. So very solid business. This is, again, we understand it's difficult to get it. I mean, it's heavy. So you need to get used to it. You need to get infused by how to put it together. Why? Because it is, again, the sort of checkup proof of your business. If you're going to want to go out and get people to help you, either finding funding or having new partners in your business, this is what people will ask you for. Okay, this is the main important. It's really like a checkup report. So funds, can I have how to say them? Okay, sure, funds. I will add at the end of the session. I will translate, and then I'll put it on the drive again. Turnover would be chiffre d'affaires. COGS is cost of goods sold, coût direct, ou le coût des ventes. Gross profit would be marge brute ou profit. Ouais, oh my God, it's difficult to translate this. Oui, ça serait marge, enfin, marge brute. Les dépenses opérationnelles, ça serait overheads. Les coûts de structure, dépréciation et marge nette. But I'll put that in this document into brackets, okay? And the cost structure, again, I use the examples provided in the workbooks. It's just to get back on the way to maybe build your selling price. So here there's the exercise of putting together all the costs was made. So fixed costs and variable costs, and we'll get back on that. Element again afterwards. So at the end of the day, all the costs all put together, let's say for the month was 23, or for production of a certain things was 23,235 whatever, let's say dollars. So when you want to set your price, what are you going to say? You're going to say, I want a 30% margin. So this is really what operating will cost you. So if you want to go in the business, it's going to cost you this, okay? So now you want to make 30% on top of this. So what are you going to do? You're going to say, okay, this 23,000 allow me to sell X elements. So it can be, okay, if you're going to look at participants in the school, it's going to be, okay, maybe 100 students, so 23,000 divided by 100 students, I'm going to sell the service for 232 per service, per product, per person. Okay, so you're going to take this number and divide by how many products you sell or how many service you provide. Okay, so it's going to be giving you a cost per unit. Once you have this cost per unit, you add your margin and so now I'm adding 30%. So adding 30% is multiplying by 1.3. And then this is the selling price. So 302 is the unit price that allows me to cover my cost and get my margin. So I know if I want to go out and have my 30% margin, I should put the selling price above $302 per unit. Okay, so just reading at the chat box, the same one. So Suzanne, usually you would be asked for 2 to 3 years, but I mean, if you created your business last year, of course, we understand that you're going only to have 1.5 years of to provide to people. Okay, but yeah, usually people like to have a little history to make sure that the business, the revenue model, what we call the business model and the revenue model are make sense and are solid. But that shouldn't put you off to go out and try to get support. Huh? Okay, on this price setting element, I hope it's clear. If it's not, put elements in the chat box. And then I'll move on to the questions you asked. So the first question was about how do I calculate depreciation? Okay, there are many ways. And could you explain what, right? So depreciation. First of all, let's go back to the basics. The depreciation is about an investment and an asset. So again, it's when you're going to buy something that is going to last for a long time, and that is going to support you, doing your producing your products or providing your services. So I put some examples here. It can be a car, it can be some machinery, it could be office desk, it could be computer, but something that, you know, is going to last for a long time and to be something you use, you step over to provide your services or develop your products. In terms of definition, depreciation, no, rent is not part of depreciation. But if you buy a building, that would be something you can depreciate. Okay, this is the difference. I mean, it's actually a really good example. Thank you. I'll explain to you why. But you can depreciate a building, you cannot depreciate rent because you don't own the thing. To be able to depreciate an item, you need to be the owner of that item. And the business needs to be the owner of that item. So a depreciation is a reduction in value of a business asset over time due to use, wear and tear, or age. So we understand that if you're going to buy a car today and it's 2 years old, then over time it's going to, you know, to get less and less good. And after maybe 7 or 8 years, the car won't be worth much, or maybe nothing, and you'll need to change your car. So depreciation is a way to acknowledge that. It's a way to acknowledge the fact that when you're owning a big piece of something that is used over time, you need to be able to value that thing. And at the same time, it's also a way to understand that a way to account for the fact that those big elements, those really worthy elements, over time lose in value, and you should always prepare for changing those elements. So it's really the two, you know, the two perspectives at the same time. So how do you calculate depreciation? There are many ways, okay? I put here the easiest one and the one you should use. And the one you should use is linear, meaning that you're going to depreciate the same thing every year. And so you're going to say, okay, I'm buying this car for 10,000 and I will use it until the end, until it's worth nothing. And I expect this car to last, let's say, 5 years. So the annual depreciation will be 10,000 minus 0. Okay, so that's 10,000 divided by 5, and that will be 2,000. So each year, you are going to take out 2,000 from your income statement. You're going to depreciate 2,000 of the car every year. I put some other elements here. Declining balance method, it's percentage based. There are other elements, but again, it is complicated, and so you should stick to annual depreciation. So why is it important? I hope you understand that. Again, it's important because it's about owning something and apportioning the value over time, to reflect it, to reflect that that expenditure over the course of your business. So effect in financial statements. First of all, it's the income statement. So the one I showed you right before, to show profitability. Every year you're going to deduct the the annual depreciation. So what we calculated, 2,000 in our example, from your income statement. If we were not doing depreciation, what would happen? What would happen is that the first year, we will need to take the entire cost of the car. And so maybe we would be totally losing money. It would be a huge loss, and then we would be out of business. Thanks to the fact of being able to depreciate, that cost is going to be spread over time. And then each year, you're going to deduct 2,000. And then at the end of the year, every year, you're going to be profitable. Okay, and it's also fair because, as a matter of fact, the car, you are going to use it for 5 years. So really, this is the idea. Okay, I'll do that again after the session, Suzanne. But okay, I'll put the numbers down. So the income statement is really the reason why we're having this conversation today. Then in the cash flow statement, that's a little bit tricky, but you're going to actually add it back because the cash was taken out the first year. And in the balance sheet, if you are putting together a balance sheet, again, the balance sheet I didn't show you last time because it's a bit heavy, I think, at this stage, but the balance sheet is the picture of your business in terms of assets and what we call liabilities. So it means in terms of what you have and what you owe to people. So assets is what you have, liabilities is what you owe to people. And so a balance sheet is really a picture of that at the moment in time. And so your depreciation has an effect in the balance sheet because your car, your buildings will be showing on your balance sheet. And it's going to go down every year, meaning that if the first year, to get back to my example, if the first year you have the car on your balance sheet will show for 10,000. And then the following year, it will show for 10,000 minus 2,000, it will show for 8,000, and so on and so forth, until year 5, when in your balance sheet, your car will have disappeared. Is asset maintenance to be factored into? No. Asset maintenance is an expense. So it is it's going to be in your income statement. It's going to be an expense. Can be direct in the COGS or indirect depending on your business model, but it is an expense. So each year it's going out. So when we're looking at depreciation, it's really the asset in itself. So when you have a car, the car will be the asset, but each year, the gasoline I have to put in my car, the maintenance, the repairs, the whatever it's called to put the oil and take it out, that's going to be an expense, an operating expense, most probably, and not going into the asset. Now, and it's just for people who want to know more. If we're looking at a business, at a building, for instance, okay, you buy your building, you have your building, and then 2 years out, if we're looking at a school, okay, you buy you buy the walls, and you buy the school, and then 2 years later, you decide to put new walls and put amazing blackboards on the walls, and maybe put some equipment, lighting equipment, maybe air conditioning equipment. Okay, that is going to really increase the value of the building. So that, yes, you can depreciate. But really the idea of depreciation and is really about something that is fixed, a fixture, something that is going to last. So really think about, is it going to last? So I put on this table some typical life useful life, so the periods over which assets can be depreciated, but it depends on your national accounting norms. So those are IFRS, but again, it's really it depends. And so on that, I would advise you to have help from an accountant. I mean, we appreciate that depreciation is a difficult concept, so don't freak out if you don't get it. Those who get it, it's great, but again, this is very general. And if you do have a business that is intensive in terms of assets, I would certainly advise you to, to take a few hours with an accountant to make sure you're looking at it the right way. So that closes our discussion on depreciation. About variable costs now. So variable costs are costs that depend on how much you're going to produce. So if you produce more, if you provide more service, your costs go up. If you don't do it, if you don't do anything, if you're sick that month and stay at home and don't do nothing, there are no costs. So do the variable costs really on that? Again, if I use the example of a massage boutique, the oil is going to be a variable cost, because if you're not going to massage anyone, you're not going to spend any oil. If you're going to be a juice, again, same example as last week. If you're going to sell juices, you sell juice, you buy fruits. If you don't sell juice and you stay home because you're sick, no fruits. So this is a variable cost. Variable cost opposes to fixed cost. So I put some elements here on the slide to provide some examples. So variable cost change with sales, production, increases quantity. Example: raw materials, packaging, transportation costs, delivery costs can also be variable. If you're going to have a business where you deliver food, okay, this is a variable. You're not making any lunch or dinner. You're not delivering it. No cost. Fixed cost stay the same each month, or here, is there every month, like a rent, like a monthly salary, like mobile telecommunication, like bank fees. So those are fixed, because whatever you do, if you're going to be there next month and the months after, they're always going to be here. Is that fine until now? Okay, so how do they relate to the concept of COGS? Excellent question. It's almost like direct costs. So most likely in most of your business, variable costs and direct costs will be more or less the same. So if you remember, in the income statement, we have the turnover, and then you have the cost of goods sold. And true, most of the variable costs are cost of goods sold. Not necessarily every time. For instance, if I am going to, some variable costs can be indirect. You can have some subscriptions, some import duties, for instance, that you have to pay every month, and they will be variable because they will be dependent upon what you take in the country, but they will not classify as cost of goods sold because they will be down in the income statement. Also, some direct costs can be part of goods sold. So if you're going to have someone to help you, like for instance, if I get back the example of the massage boutique, let's say you're going to be managing a team of 3, and you have three ladies who massage people. Do 3 ladies, even if you have no customer because, for instance, it's COVID again, and then you can't have any customer. Well, your employees, you need to pay. And so the salaries of your employees is a cost of goods sold, but it's a direct cost, but it's not variable because you cannot get rid of it. Is it fine? Do you if you have questions, you put them in the chat box. If it's fine, you can put some thumbs up or something to encourage me. And why is it important? I think you remember we talked about the COGS last time a lot, and variable costs. It's really important to understand those concepts because it's really the first and foremost element about your profitability. If you're down in terms of profit on your COGS or variable cost, again, you should get out of business, instantly. And it's also obviously really good in terms of planning because you then know, if you go up, if you intend to really grow your business, you can project how much more costs you will have. So if you grow your business in a certain magnitude, the fixed costs may remain the same, for 6 months or a year, but the variable costs are going to go up. Again, going back to the example of the massage boutique, let's say I'm renting a little house with 4 bedrooms, 4 rooms to massage people. So the rent will be fixed. The rent will be always the same. Now I can decide that in the main entrance, I managed to partition and to create 2 other rooms for massage. The variable cost will go up because, okay, I'm going to have more customers and then I'm going to have more oil used and more towels and blah, blah, blah. But the fixed costs will remain the same. So in terms of planning, it's really very important because then you know what is going to go up and what is going to remain the same. And to grow your business, it's really a very important leverage. Okay, so I'll stick there for now. I hope business license permit would be, yes, absolutely. This is fixed cost. This is fixed cost, and it's probably, you could probably have them in as G&A insurance as well. Absolutely. Because it's most likely a yearly expense that is broken down, as you say, into monthly installments to allow you to smoothen it out, but it is not something that you can stop tomorrow morning. So yeah. Okay, so if that's fine by you, we will move to the next element. It's 11:15 already, but it's fine, don't worry. Today's topic is really more absorbable than last week, and I really wanted to take the opportunity to go back on hardcore subjects. What we're going to cover today, we're going to cover access to finance, investment readiness, and partnerships. Objectives of the session. I don't know why today my bullets are whatever on whatever element, way. Anyways, so I want you, I hope at the end of the session you understand what financing means and what the conditions attached to it are. Also determine if you need financial support at this stage or not. And identify who can help you and when, because it's really a question of when. Answering quick questions, I don't go through that. You have it in your workbook, so and it's the same elements. Expected outcomes, same again. I want you to know if you need financing and how much, and which source you should go to now. Understand that there are very different financing options, and they are not free, and they have different cost advantages and apply to different situations. And then start developing a financing strategy. We'll put some elements here. We'll pave the way, and then Daniel will take over on that one next week. So before starting, question for the chat box if you have time. Who has tried to borrow money or raise money in the past? Were they successful? Were you successful? And who wants to borrow money or raise money now, and what for? So if you want to put some elements in the chat box, please feel free. I rush a little bit through that because I actually want to provide you some time to think in group. So financing needs. Let's start with the definition of financing need, then we'll see the sources, usage, and needs. Definition. No, sorry. Before, I actually want you to take a pen and to take a paper and to just spend 1 minute answering this question on this paper. So situation, are you in a situation that demands external funding? Please on the paper put yes or no. Destination, what do you think you need money for? And please do it. Please do write elements. So thank you, Maureen. Perfect, thank you. But please write it down for yourself. I mean, thank you for sharing. It helps me seeing that, you know. But please put it down for yourself because I want you to put those elements on the paper and then we'll get back to those questions. So put those elements on paper now. So situation, yes. Destination, okay. Maureen gave a really good example. Then magnitude, so how much money do you think you need? Then when do you need this money for? And what happens if you don't get it? So how much money do you need? When do you need it? Bye. Okay, so I hope you did put some elements on paper for yourself. So back to basics. Definition. What is financing? Financing is the money your business receives to help it start, grow, or overcome challenges. So financing is provision of money to a business. But financing is not just about money. It's about building trust and creating partnerships that support your business journey. So it's not just provision of money, but it's provision of support to business. I think this is a very important first concept to get. You get money, but you don't get just money. The idea is you get something else. And we are going to see what else you're getting with different type of sources of money. I'll just freeze a little bit here. I will go at the space today. If you want me to stop, you please tell me stop in the chat box, and then I go back. But I think this is quite, this is a concept that you know already, so I don't think I need to really, spend a lot of time explaining them. I really want you to focus on really working on your needs as opposed to me chatting. So let's move on. Back to basics 2. Who can provide financing according to you? So now I want you to answer in the chat box, please. According to you, who can you think about to provide you with financing? Bank, yeah. Grand investor family, business investors, VCs. Okay, so that's already a good and BAs. Okay, so I've on this family and friends, grand organizations, banks, family. Okay, so you do have a good notions of, I mean, quite good notions of who can help you. So banks, MFIs for microfinance institutions, tontine or VSLAs, so lending groups, FFF for family, fools and friends, impact funds, public institutions, other funds, can be VCs, can be business angels, incubators, accelerators, etc. On this slide, there are, most of them are represented, government-owned enterprise funds. Okay, so that would classify for me as public institutions or impact funds, depending on the conditions. I would, yeah, okay. So in orange, I try to classify those groups of potential sources upon the way that are going to support your business. So the elements in orange are going to provide debt. Debt means that you will have to pay the money back with an interest rate. The elements in blue are most likely not going to provide debt. They are investing in your business. So they will get what in return? They won't ask you to repay, but what they will get in return is a share in your company. We call that equity. It means that they're going to own some of your business with you. And then in green, perfect grants. So they don't ask for nothing. You don't have to pay the money back. You don't have to provide an ownership in your company, in return. But we'll see that obviously it's not that easy. So all their actually give funding. It depends. Sometimes there are. So sometimes some accelerating programs actually also take a share in the company. And some incubators program usually. So incubators would be early stage company, a company that just started or is really a small company. What we call early stage, early days, a new company when it's just born. So incubators would be places where people can provide you for advice, for help you, build your financials, etc., things like that. So a lot of technical assistance. Sometimes they also provide some, let's say, kickoff money. Usually it would be debt. So they might tell you, okay, we're giving a grant of 10,000, but actually it's not a grant, most likely debt. So if it is the case, be very careful when you're contacting incubators, what the conditions are if they pose some money to you. Be very careful. And sometimes it could also be some equity. So it really depends. Nothing is set. You really need to talk to people and understand in a specific case what it is about. So incubators are really about early days. Accelerators is about bigger companies. So early days, incubators, it's really trying to get the company set up and running. So most likely people will consider that you have a great idea, but it's really the beginning and they will help you try to, to sort of build a house. Accelerator is about the next level. So it's about businesses that are stronger, that do have a revenue model that makes sense and has proven to be right. But then it's when you decide that you want to, you have a house and you want to make it a bigger building. So it's really about, the next stage. And usually they wouldn't, if they provide money, they would most likely put it in equity as opposed to debt. There are also different sources of pots of money. So it can be your own money, so meaning your money from the business, so reinvesting. So the stand for MFIs. MFIs is microfinance institutions. So it's literally really small banks. I'm sure you all know about them. Microfinance institutions. VSLAs is about village. It's a village saving. I'm even elapsing the name. But basically, it's saving groups. Okay, so it's saving groups in communities in village. We see it a lot in agribusiness. So we see it a lot in countryside, where you really have, and you know, it's also usually woman-led and sometimes woman only. So it's people, it's like tontine, right? People meeting every week, a group of 10 to 15 people, putting money every week, little money, really little money, but putting money every week. And then when someone comes because they want to have personal spending, like, okay, maybe a wedding, or they want to establish or they have a problem, like someone's sick in the family, or they want to establish a business, they can say, okay, I'm going to take a loan. And people say, okay, this loan is going to be a 3 months loan at 10% interest rate. Yes, no, yes. And then you pay back. This the group. And FFF stands for Family, Fools and Friends. So it's people who help you at the beginning usually. But I'll get back into the details about that. So reinvested profit. So it's about what the business, whatever net profit you're making, reinvesting some of it to to sustain your growth. It's also about putting your personal savings, some personal savings in the business again. But here I want to be, please be careful. Most of you have small businesses, so don't put all your eggs in the same basket. Be careful about putting your personal savings into the business. Be always minded that you have your own life to sustain. And yes, you want your business to work, but you also want your families to eat. Always think about the right balance between the two. Don't put yourself in dire straits, okay? And then you can also leverage some payments from the clients to ask the banks to provide you with some money. So why I classify as internal source? Because it is, it is the sales of your company already, but you don't have the cash yet. And the money can actually, what we call do factoring. So providing you the money because they have the contract. Obviously, they make some money over it, by lending you this money. But it's a way to actually smooth down some cash elements and have some money. Exactly, you need to be alive and healthy to grow your business. Right, Maureen. On the factoring elements, be careful, it's tricky to manage. So again, wouldn't necessarily advise you to go there unless you really are saving finance and your business is already, running well. What can the money be used for? Okay, the money can be used for or as a lifeline, a boost, or an oxygen mask. So I put some elements on the slide to explain. A lifeline, well, I'll do it. A lifeline. A lifeline can be when you need money to develop a technology or to pivot to a new technology to turn it into a sellable product. So that would be very typical of startup businesses, for instance. To be honest, I don't think it applies for any of us in the group, but it's something that we see a lot in the headlines. Obviously, if you're going to see those businesses in Africa receiving like, I don't know, $3 million to build some digital app to do something, okay, that's going to classify here. People are given money to give them some time to develop this app so that after it's developed, it makes money. It can also be a boost. So you want to grow faster. So I can't remember in the chat box we had Suzanne was in need for external funding to expand the community processing centers. So you, Suzanne, I understand you would typically be here. because you want to grow your business. It's working already, but you need some money to actually give you the capacity to serve more people. So it can be duplicating production lines. It could be renting new community, new centers to greet more people. It's really this idea of, okay, I have a business model, it's working. To get to the next level, I need some money now to be able to establish the system that will allow me to grow. It can be also about business, about people. You need more people. You need more, business developers, elements like that. Or it can be an oxygen mask because you have really, up and downs in terms of cash flows, and you really didn't think ahead of time, and you didn't plan, and oops, you have some cash crunch, cash shortage. Or there are extraordinary conditions like COVID, and then you need funding to get you through that difficult stage. So you wrote your elements down on the paper. I want you to go back to your answers and think about, okay, what about me? What am I looking for? How much money am I looking for? So I'll ask Christina to put you into breakout rooms, 2 people to pair you, and then we'll give you 3 minutes or 4 minutes to until 37 to actually fill this table. So how much money you want? Is it a lifeline, a boost, or oxygen mask? And what is it exactly you want it for? So I want you to be as specific as possible, because obviously this is really for you to it's elements you've thought about, but it's a really good time to actually work a little bit, put more details, and then you can go back. You already have that. So please use the next 3 or 4 minutes to do that as a pair of people. So Christina, if you can.
Yes, there are just a few people going in and out. But I'm opening the rooms now. So you should be attributed to a room. Okay, are participants joining the rooms? Normally you should have received a notification to join the room. Okay, great. I see that some are already in the rooms. If you haven't joined the room yet, then please do so. Google, I see you haven't joined the room yet. Normally you're in room 6. Please let us know if you received the notification.
Hello, Christina.
Yes.
Sorry, I was knocked out, so I left my room. I don't know if you can send me back or reconnect me there.
Okay, let me try to place you back. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, normally you're back in room 2. Naima and Pelina, I don't know if you hear me. Pelina, could you please join room 1?
I can hear you. Yes, I'm joining.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah, let me.
Okay, I think it's only us. Okay, I'm still moving them around because some of them ended up being alone.
Okay, we'll leave them.
Okay, it's all good now. Okay, that should be working. Yeah, let's leave them some time because it took some time
Yeah.
for them to find the rooms and so on. Hi, Anita, Sarah. I will place you in one of the rooms now.
Is it not
Agnes, sorry, yeah, I invited you by accident.
Yeah.
Ignore that, please. More people coming in.
Okay, I think we will. We can break the breakout rooms anyway in like a few seconds because we still want to be able to move forward.
Yeah, for the next one, I'll just put them in 4s so that.
Yeah. So you
Yeah, just let me know when to close.
yeah, you can close
Give
now.
them like a 1 minute warning. Okay.
Yeah, you can close now. So I don't know if we're back. Are we? Yes, seem to be back.
Yes,
Okay.
everyone should be live.
Wonderful. So I hope you managed to fill in this little table together, and define your needs, right?
Yes,
Yeah, good.
it was
Now,
very interesting.
okay, so go ahead.
Okay, yeah, it was very interesting interaction with Guru and Otifele. Yeah, we had fun. We were able to discuss our need. And Guru is looking at 200,000 US dollars. It's going to be a lifeline investment. While Otifele, she's into educational and advocacy. She's looking for 20,000 US dollars. It's going to be for boosts. Yes, so we actually had fun. Thank you so much for the breakouts.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm really happy. And I think the value also of this of those kind of exercises are obviously for you to know each other better and to question what you're doing. So I think it's great if you manage to also be like, are you sure it's about that? Because that's also the value of working together, is to have someone who really wants you to succeed, but is going to ask the right questions. So let's continue. Now that you know more or less what you want, I'll show you what are the specificity of each type of funding I told you about before. So this is the heaviest slide in the whole pack today. So bear with me; it's not going to take forever. So back to basics, who finances what and how. As I told you, banks, microfinance institutions, saving groups, and tontine, and other elements like those provide debt. So debt is about loan, credit lines. It means that it's money that is rather accessible. Usually it's an application process, quite quite formal, and okay, you just need to follow it. It doesn't mean that you're going to get it, but it's formal, so you know what to expect and you know what you need to provide. But obviously it's not free, and in return for this cash that those institutions are going to give you, you're going to repay with an interest rate. Meaning that if you're going to borrow 100, you're going to have to give back maybe 120, maybe 130. And that is obviously increasing the cost structure quite a lot. Why? Because those 30 you're going to give in interest rates, it's not something you would have had to give back if you didn't have this money, that loan. So it's what we call financial cost, financing cost, financing cost. It is very important to really keep that in mind. It's obviously, loans are a great way to to smoothen cash flow, to pay for, to provide support for working capital, and for a lot of things, but it means that your business needs to be profitable, and you need to make sure that you can repay this money over time. Why? Because even though it can be really, really costly. Okay, so you have to really be careful about that. And before signing in, you really, really need to work your projections out. Can I repay this money? Will I be able, with the cash I generate, allow me to repay this money? What it is mostly used for, so it's working capital gap. It is short-term operational gap. It's bridge financing. Again, it's more about the cash flow. So allowing you to, instead of having cash in, cash out, sort of smoothing that a little bit, and allowing you to have money. So let's imagine you have this massage boutique. you need to all of a sudden you need to buy 6 massage tables because you didn't have them before. It's really important for your business to grow, then and to be steady and to really have your customers happy. So the bank might lend you money to buy those tables. And I mean, it's actually, that's more like CapEx, but okay. So anyways, providing you this money to have this or buying stock if you want to sell your juices, but you need to have like a huge stock of fruits the first week, and you don't have money for that. Okay, the bank or the MFI might give you money to buy those fruits that you're going to then use as stock inventory to press and to provide your juices. The second big element in blue is the equity. So again, I told you before, equity share. So early investors, family, friends and friends, business angels, venture capitalists, impact funds, incubators, accelerators, etc. Usually they will invest in equity, meaning that they will be co-owners of your company. So the plus, the advantages is that there is someone sharing risk with you. So they're going to give you cash. You don't have to pay this money back per se, but so it means they share your vision. They really think that you're right. They really think that your business makes sense, but they become co-owners. So at some point, they will want to cash out their investment, meaning that they will expect you to sell, or they will expect for some dividends. So basically taking a share of the profits. And they will have an implication in any decision you make about the business. So that is very important to understand. Yes, you're getting cash, but you're relinquishing freedom and capacity to decide. So it really depends also on how much those funds or those investors are getting. But you have to be really, balancing the pros and cons. It's more so actually the example of the table, the massage table wasn't right for the banks. I mean, usually those investors would actually, it's those ones that would actually provide you money for this type of what we call capital expenditure. So like if you want to buy a building for a school or things like that, okay, this kind of money, because they believe in your vision, they believe that the business will be standing after 5 or 7 years, and they are ready to lend you this money, or technology upgrade or strategic pivot. So it's really 2 different type of usage usually. Equity will be for heavy stuff, long-term. Debt would be for more operational stuff, short-term or mid-term. And then obviously in the midterm, in the mid-ground, you have grants. Okay, wonderful. Someone comes and gives you money for nothing. Okay, why not getting it? It's obviously great. The problem with that is that it's really usually very heavy to get. So there's no mystery in life. When something is free, it is very difficult to get it. And so the application process usually for grants is very heavy. And the resources you might have to put to get it or not get it might actually offset the gains of the grant. So I put again here the that I just told you. So I'll get back. Let me go back to sorry, to the little table you put together with your peer in the breakout room. Now, who do you think is more suited to give you money? So who do you think? I mean, depending on the type of expenses or expenditure you put down. So how much you need and what for? Please do this work of trying to see who is best aligned with you. I'll give you 30 seconds for that. Okay. Now that we worked on your needs, on who can give you money, I want you to go back to the answers you provided at the beginning of this section about your situation, destination, magnitude, and timing. So I hope you understand by now that funding is not free. And you should only go to funding when you actually really need it. So now, please look back at your answers at the beginning. Situation. Are you in a situation that really demands external funding? So are you in a situation of a startup company, an expansion company, an opportunity capture, or a need to, an emergency situation? Destination, what do you need the money for? So you've worked on that. Magnitude, how much money do you need? Is it still in line with what you put at the beginning? Is it more? Is it less? And then timing, when do you need this money? What happens if you don't get it? Which alternatives to funding do you have? So again, look at the answers you had at the beginning and revise them down if necessary. And I'll again give you 15 seconds for that. And I actually do count. Okay, I'll stop there with this section. I hope that you do, you made some progress about your real needs. Back to basics number 5, securing funding, the truth. So this is the last slide of my first section. And the truth one is that funding is not free. So you either have to pay an interest rate, or you're relinquishing some shares in your company, or you're giving up time to get this money. Very important to understand, funding is not free. Truth number 2, funding is not cheap. Whether it's about money, whether it's about shares of your company, whether it's about time and resources, funding is actually a lot. It's a lot of resources. Truth number 3, securing funding is not easy. This is something you might be covering. You will be covering more with Daniel next week. You will see that depending on who you're going to try to turn to, it's very different expectations. Again, banks, MFIs, saving groups are easier to get because more formal for banks and MFIs. VSLAs and Tontine are not formal, but they're really small. You will get really small money only. Banks and MFIs more money, but formal process, but difficult to get. Investors, equity, very difficult to get. Very difficult to get. And truth number 4, securing funding and managing funders, but it's not just about securing funding. After you have taken the money from people, you need to obviously report to people what you're doing. So it's not only at the time you're getting money that it eats a lot of resources, but it's also over time, reporting needs, managing relationship. That's not necessarily very easy. Okay, we've covered part 1 of our menu for the day. Part 2 is about securing funding and financing strategy. So some elements here won't be covered, especially step 3, because this is something again that you need to that you will cover with Daniel next week. So we'll just, just give some frame and that's it. So about now mapping your needs. So this is the step 1, mapping your needs. Prerequisite, need defined, how much, what for. This is what we have just worked upon together this first hour and some more. Now, after that, next step will be to determine who is best suited to help. So again, this is what we worked on. In the chat box, I can see debt and grants, public institutions, grant and investors. Okay, most likely you need to choose because obviously it can be everyone, but it cannot be everyone in real life. So you need to determine who's best suited to help and to also expect what their expectations will be. So at which conditions, under which, their expectations, because the expectations are your chances to succeed. So to be able to succeed into securing funding, you actually need to understand what they're looking for so that you give them what they're looking for. On this slide here, I put financing and partnerships landscape. I put all the elements I've spoken about. I added crowdfunding, not all of them actually. Impact funds, VC, and business angels would be here at the bottom. I didn't put like more bigger funds because you're not suited yet. And I put the type of support provided, the pros and cons, what is this more suited for? And then I invite you, again, you have the slides, so you can do it. I invite you to say if it's adapted for you or not. Okay, so after this meeting, after this session, it's a really easy and actually quite fun exercise to do. Go back because it's it's just yes or no. Go back to this slide and look if it's a yes or a no. Are you in a retail business? Okay, so that might be a yes. Are you not in a retail business? Okay, you might be putting no. Do you think that impact funds are suited to you? Impact funds would be okay. Asking you to have a really specific action on either children or women, or if you don't, maybe it's not adapted for you. Maybe if you're selling juices, it's not adapted for you. Okay, so look at this map. I mean, at this table, and please, you put yes, no, maybe. And when you put a yes, you try to find names and institutions in your vicinity. So you have to do this work then of saying, okay, let's say I put yes in microfinance institutions. Who are the microfinance institutions close to me today in my country, in my town? Who can I contact? Okay, so this is really the beginning of your partnership landscape. It's an easy exercise. It's maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and it can really help you. So I really ask you to do it after this session. Yeah, I wanted you to fill it in now, but we don't have time, unfortunately. So do it after the session, please. Understanding what financiers are looking for. So again, I told you before, okay, you know who, you try to map who, and then you try to understand what they want. So what they want, okay, I'll try to... Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Suzanne, for replying to Elisa. Absolutely. For when you start your business, best way is to really do it with your own savings and ask your friends, your family, the people around you to support you. This is really the way to go. Nobody will help you. No banks or no investor will help you if there's nothing to show. So what they want, what financiers are looking for is sound perspective. So a good market. If you are going to, I don't know, decide to sell all telephones with a wire, nobody will give you any money for that. So you need to have a good market. So it's identified, existing but not saturated, and promising. Okay, then your perceived capacity to grasp the market needs to be realistic. So if you're going to be a teacher and you think that there's space for a school, I don't know, linguistic school, you're in Kenya and you want to teach people French because you think there's a market. Okay, you need to prove that there's a market. Okay, maybe there's a French school, so there might be a market for really tiny kids to learn French. Fine. Then you need to show that you actually are the person best suited to do that. That you have, I mean, that is realistic. So basically, there's you do have a chance of getting those people, and maybe you speak French. Condition 2, you have to have a solid business model. So what we showed before about the income statement, this is what is going to prove that you have a solid business model. Does it make sense? Is it profitable? Is the way to make money? Does it make sense? Okay. So you, and that's also linking in with your question, Elisa. Ideally, you already generate money. So you already prove that the business exists and that you are indeed profitable. So this is how you're best positioned to actually get money. Obviously, it's a little sad, but we always say that, banks only lend to rich people, and it's a bit true. So someone like a financier will give you money if they perceive that you're good at what you're doing and you have a good business. Otherwise, if you have no proof of that, they will be like, I'm not giving my money. I'm afraid to not get it back. Very simply. So solid business model is profitability and revenue model. So what I mean by revenue model, it's the way you generate money. So if you provide a service, it's how you're going to cash your service. If you are, for instance, extending some school activities, are you collecting money each month? Is it per hour? Is it so each time someone comes they would have to pay, or is it is it per student? Is it per month? Is it per year? This is what the revenue model and the business the revenue model will be about, how you generate money. So per the hour or per student is a very different revenue model. And this is really what financiers are really going to look at. Does it make sense? Is it going to generate money? Okay, this is what they want. They want money, so they want you to generate money, and this is what you need to think about. Condition number 3, you need a strong team. So if I go back to the example of any school activity or educative business, okay, you need to be a teacher, or you need to have an educational background, because otherwise they will be like, okay, this lady was a butcher before, they want to open a school. Unless it's a school in butchery, it doesn't make any sense. No, I'm not going. So really you need to have a team that makes sense in terms of competency. Then the team needs to be dedicated to the business. So if you want to start a business and you want to have funding, you will need to be dedicated to this business. Otherwise, nobody will lend you money. If you still have a job on the side and you're trying to juggle with 10,000 things at the same time, you're not going to get it. Yes, sure, Google, bye-bye. And thanks for attending the session. So really dedication and focus. Then right expertise, commercial capability and capacity. So they will also want to see that, with you or along, I mean, you or some people around you have the capacity to go out and sell business. So if you're going to be in this educational business, but you're really about the curriculum and, what to offer to kids, great. But then next to you, you will need to have someone who can sell it, who can go out, who can be like, okay, let's go, come to my school, you'll see it's a great school. And, so you need to have this different skill set that covers expertise, so the core of the business, commercial activity, capacity to sell the business, and all the support like finance, operations, so capacity to actually make sure the business stands together. You need to have that. Nobody invests in idea. People invest in an idea plus an execution capacity. So you might have the best idea in the world. You might, have an idea to be a millionaire. Okay, if there's no execution next in line, it's like there's nothing. Step number 3, securing funding. So once you have established that you need money and you know how much you need and you know where to get it from, you are going to have to ensure that your business is attractive to funders and develop the presentation tools to prove that it is attractive to people. And that's coming next week. So with that, so again, those really elements about pitch deck and the business planning will be covered by Daniel next week. So let's stop there for, how you prove to people you're attractive and how you try to go to this community I showed you before. So now, in addition, and the last exercise I want you to go through today, so in addition to the chart I showed you, to the map of partnerships where I want you to put yes, no, and who. I hope you remember what I really want you to fill in after the session. I also want you to think about other type of supports, because as I said, funding is not just about money. So funders should provide you other elements than just funding, but also there are people out there who can help you providing other types of assets, of resources, not money, but other types of things. So here on this slide, I put some elements. So technical support training, NGOs can provide that, incubators can provide that, women network can provide that, business centers can provide that. Mentoring and coaching, maybe people around you, maybe someone you're really looking up to, I don't know, a great aunt or someone in the market, or someone, or like if you want to establish if you have a school business, maybe a greater school, a bigger school. Okay, you do have people around you that could provide you with advice or guide you, and would be most likely very happy to doing so. So it's also something you need to think about. Being an entrepreneur is very difficult. I think one link we all have in this call is that we're all entrepreneurs. We know that at times it's very difficult to really hold on. We feel like we have no examples, no role models. It's just about, like pulling the stuff. And sure enough, if you find people who are there to guide you or to listen to you, it's much helpful. Then you have market access partnerships, chambers of commerce, business networks can provide some names, can provide some business data, market analysis, things like that. Then you have shared infrastructure. It's a bit dumb, but if you want to go to an office and you actually manage to share this office with 2 or 3 different people, it's actually a huge cost down. So it's also those easy things where you can actually lower your cost while it's a form of funding. But also if you share a motorbike, a bicycle, whatever. Then it's getting preferred, potentially preferred fares from people of your network. So you decide to actually create a network, and you are going to provide each other, services to each other. It's also a way to actually get some help, but not paying out for it. In-kind barter, and admin, legal support, youth centers, women centers, and things like that. So that are a few examples on the slide. Now we will break out the room for the last 5 minutes of the session. This is really the last slide of the session. So I want you to work in groups of 4 now to go through those points or new points and put down on paper again who can provide support to you. Maybe other people in the group will have ideas you didn't have. So please do juggle ideas. Try to have those 5 minutes to try and have you know, like some tools after this session to go out and say, okay, that can help. So Christina, if you would please, again, for the last time, break people in groups of 4 people, let's say. And ladies, I put this slide, I leave the slide on the screen. Do try to, you know, to have ideas together and to put names down to help you after the session.
Thanks,
Agnes.
Agnes.
I think when they go into the breakout rooms, they don't see the slides anymore. So if you maybe just want to copy and paste it into the chat, just the
I'll do that. I'll try to do that. Sorry. I'll do that.
Can do it too, Agnes. And
I don't know if I
Thank
tried to, but I don't know if it worked.
yeah, it's there.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Okay, and we'll recoup at 19 for the last. Oh my goodbyes.
those who are still here, please join the rooms. You should have received a notification. Thanks.
Hi, Christina. I think I mistakenly canceled to join. If you can please resend me.
Okay, normally you were assigned
Susan.
to room 6. You cannot see anything?
No, I can hear you, but I think instead of joining the room, I mistakenly filled it. Okay, I'm joining.
Okay. Zamzam, can you see it now? I put you in another room. You didn't receive the notification? Naima, Zamzam, can you hear me? Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, I put you into room 2. I think you should have received a notification. Agnes, for you, it was a notification before? In the previous breakout room session.
For me? Sorry?
Yes, I placed you by accident previously in the breakout room sessions in one of the rooms. Did it go automatically or you received a notification?
I received a notification, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Zamzam, normally you should have received a notification. You cannot access it?
Okay, Zamnam, if you cannot access it, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think you can just, you know, look at the slide or look at the elements and you know and think about it for yourself. So try to see around you in your, you know, in people around you. I don't know, are there chambers of commerce or business networks that could and what could they provide to you, or you know, things like that, things that you, I don't know what your business you're running, but you know, it doesn't make sense in terms of infrastructure that you're going to share something. so you know, it's really about practically who can be and what can be a support. Okay, Christina, I think you can send the message out.
Okay.
Only 1 minute left.
Okay.
Hello, I think you're all back. So hopefully you managed to think about elements that will help you expand your partnerships structure. So again, think about partnerships in terms of money, and then in terms of something else, not money, technical assets, support. If one of you wants to feedback, please let us know. Otherwise, we will have the last slide of this session. So the last slide of the session, you'll find it again in the workbook. So it's in the workbook. It is an invitation for you to keep track of the people you are contacting. Why? Because you can show all the steps you're making to support your business. And also you have a track. So you know the points that were discussed, you know the actions, you know if it's a yes or a no, you know if it's still there pending, and maybe you can get back to them. And obviously you keep the name of the person down, which sometimes we forget about. So this is just an invitation, simple tool to just, keep track of things that happened in terms of support to your business. I think that's quite simple. So if you have any more questions about what we have covered today, I'm happy to try and answer. So we will give you maybe 20 seconds to put things in the chat if you want to put things in the chat. Thank you, Al. Okay, so I assume that you don't have more questions about the session today. Okay, my question, I am at a fund stage seeking external funding, yeah.
And Suzanne, feel free to come off mute if it's
Yeah.
easier just to ask the question.
Okay, thank you, Daniel.
Yeah.
I got contacted recently by an intended investor, someone that is interested in my business, and they're willing to invest financially and with their own network and contacts that they have. And that's the major thing I need, not just the funding, not just the money, but we need their contact in terms of marketing, exposure, distribution, and what the business actually needs, because we make products as well. So what I don't understand about equity and investment is, for a startup like mine, what's the best approach to it? Like, what percentage of my business can I offer? So for instance, if they're investing $30,000, what percentage do I give? And do I get my equity back when I pay them back, or is it like a permanent lifetime thing? What's the procedure? What's the process? I'm very not good with that. Yeah. I
Okay.
have no idea.
Okay, excellent question, Suzanne. Thank you for asking. We will likely not be able to provide a really full answer today. I could actually probably talk to you for about 2 weeks about it. It's really what you need to understand about equity is that they're going to take a percentage depending on the value of your business. So really, the idea is that what you are building on, what you have built, is worth a certain amount of money. They are, because they're going to provide you with some cash and other elements that are also something that is worth money. Then, depending on what they're bringing, this is, the relative value of what they're bringing to the value of your business that is going to determine how much you should give away to them in terms of percentage. It is a very, it's impossible to provide an answer to you today, because we would need to really look at the specifics of your business, etc., and really also look at what they're really bringing, if they're really serious, etc. But what I would always advise you to be very, very attentive about is, one really huge threshold is majority, because if they're going to have more than 50% of your business, obviously, then you're not owning your business anymore. The business is theirs. Usually for a first funding round, you would typically give away 20% of your company. This is just, this is not really, don't take it as hard numbers, but this is just an idea of scale of how much is given away in the first funding round. And how do you get your money back? Or how do you get your share back? So there are different types of settings. Either there are supporting your business because it's a steady business and they think that you can grow thanks to them, and then you can, because you've grown, you can buy back the share because the business has been really successful and you have enough money to buy back their share. Or you actually cash out when you sell the business to someone else. So you conjointly, at some point in, let's say, 5 years' time, decide that the network of school that you've built is great and you can sell it to a bigger educational institution, and then you'll get your money. But it's really what you need to understand with equity versus debt. Debt, it's formal, you have processes, you know what you're going to give back every month, it's white and black. Equity, it's all about negotiation, it's all about case by case. And so you really need to find people who will support you in this process of how much, for how much, etc., etc. You need to be surrounded by people who can help. I think incubators can help you. Probably some NGOs can help you, but you really need to be supported in this process. POs, to fund POs, what do you mean? Purchase orders? Maureen.
Thank you,
Um,
Agnes.
You can use really short-term loan to do this is going to be working capital, I guess, but yeah, technically you can. I think I need to break here because Danielle needs to talk to you for 2-3 minutes to prepare next week's session. So thank you all for for your attendance and your great participation. I know it's been heavy. I'll put whatever we can in the slides, and please, if you have questions, you can always go to Danielle and Christine. I'm happy to answer. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Angie. This section, really enjoyed this section. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, ladies. And Agnes, thanks for another powerful session. I'm so grateful for the depth that you have gone into. This is such an important topic for these women to understand. So I really appreciate you taking the time to really make sure they get as much as they possibly can in the process. Yeah, brain stimulating is, it's definitely brain stimulating. That's one way to say it. So I won't keep you long. I know that we're a bit over time, but your homework for this week is the same. So to go back into the workbook and to complete the remaining sections of the finance section of the workbook. And as with every week, I will select 2 of you at random using that little name wheel to get feedback on next week's session. Agnes won't be with us next week, but she'll give feedback to me via email, which I will then share with you. But of course, if you have additional questions, please feel free to reach out and we can support you with those. Then our session next week is going to be our final coaching session. And this one is going to be around storytelling and the art of the pitch. Now, whether you are going for funding, as we discussed today, or even if you're just trying to showcase your business to potential clients or partners or even employees, learning how to talk about your business is such an important element of that. So that is what we're going to be covering in depth next week during our coaching session. You do not need to prepare anything for next week's session. Just come as you are, and I'll be walking you through different ways that you can start talking about your business. As always, the slides and recordings will be up in